Okay, let's just start the episode. Oh, hi there. It's Darcy. Just a quick warning before we begin. Today's episode contains brief discussions of sexual assault. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to High School Suck, the podcast where we ask the tough questions like, does it actually get any better? And whatever happened to that girl who used to blow guys for Snickers? Rumor has it, he's hosting a podcast with his best friend, Toes Jane.
Ooh, that was a good one. I'm so glad you. I thought I was.
It's Jane Stanton. Yeah, I know. It's a classic misdirect, Jane. Classic misdirect.
Is that a misdirect or a red herring?
No, I will still blow you for Snickers.
Okay.
Believe me. Why do you think this marriage has lasted so long? Jared knows to stop at the store. Hi, dorks. How's everyone this week?
I'm great.
I'm
great. I'm good. I'm good. I went on a crazy cleaning rampage yesterday.
I've been doing that all morning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like you feel good, but then it's also like the never ending. Like I'm like, okay, I did my bathroom, got rid of stuff under the sink, and I've been stealing lately by mistake. I put things underneath in the sharpening cart, and I got an outdoor rug. You told me not to, but I have part coverage, so it won't get moldy or anything. And
we'll check back in 6 months.
Okay, yeah. And I'm walking in Superstore and it's up above. So it's just like hitting people, everything. My sister's like, okay, yeah. And then when I paid for a thing, I walked out and went, when I was about to put it in my car, I was like, oh, I robbed the joint.
We did that years ago at IKEA. We put a bunch of dishes inside a toy chest that we bought from the as is section, and they didn't look in the toy chest, and we forgot until we were walking to the car, and then we were like, literally the IKEA commercial: "Start the car, start the car." Right? Yeah,
that's what I did, and then I got a waterfall and from Canadian Tire. This is within 3 days, and then got the organizer, and it was on the bottom. But I was with my friend Alexia, and she got stuff too, so I don't feel like I'm the only idiot. And we got to the car, and I'm like, oh my God, not again. And then we're driving home up Canby. Darcy, there was a cop behind me. I was like, why is it so following us? Why? And Alexia's like, Jane, it's just driving. I'm like, I'm going to get pulled over. I'm in my 20s.
What's that joke I used to do about the cop? Oh shit, it's got 2 headlights. Act casual.
Yes, I'm like, have shivers and nervous. I'm like, I'm not built for this career. It was exciting, and I've never felt more alive, though. I know why Winona Ryder
oh my God, stop it.
I get it. What about you? What have you been up to, Darcy?
Well, you must take care, so I went kind of crazy cleaning the patio and getting ready because I'm going to probably go and get some plants today. I'm drinking a smoothie, so I'm literally the healthiest person alive. I'm practically vegan, so I'm feeling pretty good. Whenever Yuma's gone, I get to burn incense, so I'm on my like 7th.
What do you mean? Why don't you normally?
She has opinions on incense, and most of them consist of her staring at it, barking, fire, fire, fire. So I used to burn them all the time, you know that. And so I can only burn them when she's not here. So when Jared takes her for a walk or when she's at daycare, like Mondays, I literally burn them like all day long. And I find like that's enough for the week.
Yeah, because I hate them.
I have some bones to pick with you. We've got some drama happening. Jane gave me an air fryer. Very kind of her. Love it. It's great. It is missing an integral part to the air fry.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, what is that? The end of the episode? I instinctively went to hit stop recording.
Fuck you.
It's great. We love it.
Do you?
Yeah, we're big fans of it.
Because you sent me pictures.
Yeah, but it would be even better if Jared and I could cook our meals at the same time with the double rack. I went to buy a double rack. You can't. So if anyone has an extra rack kicking around.
Okay, I'll find it for you, you fucking cunt.
That isn't even the real bone to pick. So We got to see each other in person on Thursday. It was a big day. We social distanced. We wore masks. You helped me tape an audition, and for those that don't know, Jane and I live about 45 minutes away from each other. So we taped the audition, and I get home to edit the audition and send it to my agents. And it was 4 scenes. Crush them because I'm that good. I go to add the 4th scene, and the clip is, I almost pulled the audio up to play for you, but the clip is, yeah, you did great. That was the best take. Let's use that one. It is the starting of the recording because Jane didn't hit record until we had finished taping the scene. So I had to call my agents, and I was like, you knew how I felt about this audition anyway, so it was like, whatever, I sent it in as is. But we have learned a lesson, and the lesson is you are
double check your work.
No, you're trying to sabotage my success.
Okay, here's my thing. I said I was fucking sorry. Double check your fucking work. Secondly, my favorite is you just were like, send it as is. Because here's the thing. They don't like you. They're going to stop in 5 seconds.
Exactly.
They're not even going to watch all scenes.
Yeah.
Thirdly, here we have a big third. My bone to you. How many times has Darcy showed up to my place over the years, and it will be 10 pages of dialogue? Darcy, you off book? Yep. I've been, working all. Jer helped me. I am off book. And he shows up, and I'm like, so where have you been? Like the line. And he's like, well, what's my line? I'm like, are you?
Oh yeah, no, we all know that I never know the script.
Do we? No, they don't know. They don't know. They know that, but you'll be like, we'll run it. We'll run it. What's the line?
I had to do one yesterday with Jer, and he was like, are you off book? And I was like, no, but it's 4 scenes, and each one we'll memorize it right on the spot, film that scene, and move on to the next. You know that I like it to feel fresh when I'm doing it. So fresh that my brain is
called lazy.
No, it's called ADHD. The movie I did a few years ago, the behind the scenes 90210 thing, has been airing a lot lately. So I've been getting a lot of like comments on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic movie. One person was like, "Why is your character always carrying a clipboard?" And I literally I straight up, because it's got my script. Like every scene, the clipboard is holding my script. Same with Spun Out. Every time I was sitting at the computer, my script was on I made them give me a working computer on set so I could have my script and just scroll through it.
I don't know how people do when it's pages of dialogue. That's why when they've offered me leads, I'm like, hey.
Speaking of,
I'm good.
How'd your episode go? Your first episode of Mighty Ducks go?
Great. It was super good. It was,
did you shine?
My neck shone, my double chin, the waddle. I've lost weight since then, so I was like, oh, that's there. You know, I can make so many noises of animals. Well, my OnlyFans do. Cut scenes for me and Amy. So
they cut you guys.
All you get is us smiling, Amy looking amazing, holding a phone, and she's like, "Go, Nikki!" You wouldn't, if you didn't know it was like know us, you wouldn't know. You're just
that
like,
you were.
Yeah. Pretty much, I'm gonna say glorified background.
For now, though, you guys, your characters expand beyond that during the season, right?
Yeah, but it just was I really wanted that because the scene was very funny, and I wanted it for a demo reel.
Listen, you're talking to a guy whose entire career has ended up on the editing room floor. You know, like remember Twilight Zone? I was on set for 10 days on Twilight Zone. 10 days. Comes out on my birthday. Jer and I sit down being like, oh, you know what? We never watch anything I've ever done. But this was Jordan Peele. It was Kumail Nanjiani. Like Kumail and I spent...
I was in the episode too.
You were in the episode. We just didn't film on the same days. So I was like, this is fantastic. Let's sit. I'll actually watch something I've done. And we sit down and watch it. And the first scene, I was like, well, wait a second. I was supposed to be in that. And so I text my agent. I was like, hey, you saw the episode. Like, is it worth me watching? And she goes, oh, Oh, Darce, I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you. You're cut out of the entire episode. They cut my whole storyline, everything. I was just mortified.
Did your agent do what my agent's done? Of like, if you get cut, of like, hey, well, you can go out again now. That's a good thing. Like, is it?
Aren't you in Supernatural twice?
No, you know what happened with Supernatural, Darcy.
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
I'm sure you told me.
I probably did, but it.
Did you fuck Jared Padalecki?
No, maybe in a dream. I had like a 10-page audition. I think you helped me with it. It was like almost like director, producer session. I had auditioned for a different role, and then they were like, brought me in for something else. I worked so hard in it. I had to be like tied up. I become a demon.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what Jane did. Jane did the research, but I watched a bit like on YouTube, but it wasn't scenes that showed demons. So Jane put 2 and 2 together, which equals 39. And I said, the demons on Supernatural, they're like Buffy. So I was tied to this chair. I was like doing it. I'm like, no, don't, crying, everything. They're watching, like they're there in the room. And then they inject me. I become a demon. And then I'm like, leave me alone. Get back. Or else. Like, and I go full, and then they kill. I'm crying afterwards. I was like, oh God. I look when I'm done. They're all looking at me like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, oh God. And then I was like, well, at least I committed in my head. And then one of the casting directors was like, Jane, have you seen Supernatural? And I just was like, oh, let's be honest, for once in your life, Jane. I was like, no. And she's like, the demons don't change voices like Buffy. And I was like, fair enough.
You made a choice.
I made a choice at least. I mean, they always say that, make a choice. And I made a strong choice. And they said, do you want to do it again? I said, okay. And I got up and I put my back against the wall like the Blair Witch Project in the corner. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like I spent hours, and I turned around, and so I just went back to do it, inject, and then instead of like, I was like, hey guys, like a letter voice, stop it.
You're ridiculous.
Oh,
that's
God.
Amazing. What show was it that you did twice?
Oh, that was Psych.
Psych.
It was
okay, I
three
knew
times. They just like
3 episodes, 3 different
only,
characters.
Yes, but
because even at that point, the creators weren't even watching their own show.
Totally, they're like, hey, in the same episode, can you be 2 characters, please? Like 21 Jump Street back in the day. Like, people would be a gang member, and then the next week, like, there's a mayor.
We have some business that we have to attend to. First of all, I want to thank everyone that joined Jer and I on Friday night for the launch of Darcy Michael Goes to Church worldwide. It was massive. It was it was a little hectic because we were live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok all at the same time. So I had 2 laptops and a phone going, and we were trying to like communicate with everybody. But between the 3, we had something like 40,000 people with us for the launch. And then the numbers have been great all weekend. So if you want to watch the special, you can click the links on my profiles on Instagram, or even on our Instagram. I linked it there as well. It's called Darcy Michael.
I didn't approve that.
Jane, if you knew how to insert a link into anything.
I know how to insert a penis.
Did you, do you?
No.
Do you? Yeah.
No.
The old fold and cram. Did you weigh your head? We had homework. Did you weigh your head?
Oh, Lexi has a scale. I should go weigh. Can I go weigh it?
We don't have time. We'll do it this week.
Can
we'll
I do it
this
afterwards?
Week. Yeah, we can do it. We've got our guest is joining us in a few minutes.
Can I tell you something?
I have a review to read from you.
Is it the one I told you about?
No, but I want to talk about that one as well. This was the review. Are you paying attention? Pay attention. It was objectively good, but I don't think I'll be listening to it anymore. It's a bit much listening to your parents say such crass things. It was from Grace.
No!
I fucking died.
Where did she write the review?
She just texted it to me. I was
Oh.
like, "Can you put that on Apple?" Because I
She
guess
gives it a fucking 1 star.
we probably should. Yeah, we only get one star review. It's
It
my
was a bit much.
my
God
Gracie.
damn it.
She tuned in obviously because she was like, "Oh my god, both my dads are doing the podcast. This is one I'll listen to." And then she texted us in the group chat saying, "So I listened to the podcast," and then nothing. Like 20 minutes go by and nothing else. And I was like, yo, like, what did you think of it? How did you think, like, what did you think of Dodes, which is Jer? And then she sent that. And I was like, okay, cool.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, I got a couple messages. One from I gave a shout out to Nicole, but not her boyfriend. And it was like, angry that we didn't give him a shout out.
Well, listen,
and
you told me about that,
with anger,
but they're only listening on one device. They count as one fucking
so
listen.
I'm not going to say his name until you start listening. No,
you go in the other room, you download it on Spotify and Apple, one headphone on one each, and then you'll get a fucking shout out.
I have bought 35 laptops.
That's why we're charting. Jane's just running like a data mining center in her apartment. I got a bunch of messages of people complimenting me on my Wilford Brimley joke. I
haven't seen them still.
If you checked the email ever, you would see there were several messages saying that they enjoyed, and that email is, what is it, Jane?
Toast, Jane.
No, it's highschoolsuckpodcast@gmail.com.
Can I? Are you going to tell about the review that I thought was hilarious?
Oh, is it the Madonna halftime one?
Yes!
Okay, I'm not gonna read the review because I think I actually know who this guy is, and he comes to all my shows in Toronto. So thank you for that. But he did insert a really odd story, as like it makes me sound kind of like a loser. So I want to give a bit of backstory to it. Years and years ago, and I'm talking like I think it was 2011 or 2012. Carl would know better than I, but I got booked to do a show at the Flying Beaver, which was a cool little pub array in Toronto. And it was a Sunday, and so I flew to Toronto for the show, and it was like a door deal, so I'd be splitting the door. But it was seats 100 people. It was, I think,
so mad cash.
But they also like fronted like a hotel room, paid the flight and everything, and they gave me a chance to go and party in Toronto for the weekend. The day before the show, I'm like, how are ticket sales? And they're like, abysmal. And I was like, why?
The worst. You're giving me like, it's the worst when you're like, how is it? And you're thinking like, oh, it's going to be
like whatever.
Like,
probably sold
you're like,
out.
what?
Literally 6. And and I'm like, okay, so that's not great. And then they were like, yeah, we didn't realize it's Super Bowl Sunday. And I was like, okay, because my audience gives a fuck about Super Bowl Sunday. And then we realized Madonna's the fucking halftime show. I'm supposed to be on stage at the same time as the Madonna halftime show. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did we not think of this? So we go to the venue thinking maybe people will come. No one comes. There's 6 people. So instead, Carl and I literally just sat and had dinner with these fans for like 3 hours, because we were like, you know what? I'm not going to do a show for you guys, but I'm going to sit and we'll tell stories and stuff.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Listen, our guest today is a good friend of mine who I haven't actually seen in a long time. He is a comedian, podcaster. He has his own podcast, Red Man Laughing, and his hit series podcast, which is Thunder Bay with Canada Land. Some would say he's an activist, but I would prefer to call him an educator. It's Ryan McMahon, everybody. Ryan!
Yay!
Yeah. Okay, well, there goes the fucking sound engineer.
It's one time I was called an artivist.
And
it made me want to get a day job.
Yeah. It's funny because I told a friend of mine you were going to be on the podcast, and they were like, oh, like I follow him on Twitter, and he's such a great activist for Indigenous rights in Canada, and like bringing people's attention to things. And it bugged me for a long time because I was like, I follow Ryan on on Twitter, and I always find it like you literally are educating people. Like activism means you're like I believe it's both, but I find your approach is very open and honest, but you're telling facts. There's no activism behind it.
Well, and also I love how, like, when you're from a marginalized community, whether it's indigenous or LGBTQ plus, like if you're from a marginalized community and you bring a voice from that community out to the mainstream, it's activism. How about it's just us trying to stay the fuck alive?
Yeah.
Like it's also that, like, if no one else is going to talk about this shit, then then it's up to us to talk about our communities.
Yeah. No,
so
good for you.
Less activism, more like this is the
survival.
These are the lives we live. Yeah.
And Jane, we don't want to leave you out. Obviously, as a ginger, you are probably the one that's attacked the most.
Darcy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Also, nice to meet you, Jane.
I was gonna say, have you guys met?
No.
Oh,
just now.
Oh, this is your meet cute.
Meet and greet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ryan, you're in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Are you doing okay?
Doing okay. Like I don't know. You just, some days are really good, and then some days are not. And I have soft hands. These hands are so soft. I type for a living. Occasionally I'm funny, and occasionally I swear around. So, I mean, all things being considered, I'm fine. My two teenage daughters are healthy.
Amazing.
Their mom is healthy. My parents are healthy. All things being considered, doing okay.
That's great. Where now are your daughters? They're not in Toronto, right? Where are they?
Winnipeg, right?
So are you still able to go back and forth?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great.
About half time.
Yeah.
In both places, and it's work, and I think over the like many other people, like just work has changed over this last year, and you kind of, I was ready to tour a brand new live show in 2020. I was workshopping it at Banff and getting it ready, and I had a tour planned for 2020, 2021, and work changed, and it's changed for all of us, and this is what we do now over Zoom or whatever other video chat app we have, and so I've had to go where the work is, and that's developing projects and, working on an adaptation of the Thunder Bay podcast, a documentary form for Crave. It'll come out. Is
that what the Crave project is?
That's
right.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. If you haven't listened to the Thunder Bay podcast, it's fantastic. When it first launched, I want to say 2 years ago now.
Yeah, 2018, end of 2018. Yeah, and the second season we just wrapped before Christmas, so season 2 is out. It's a weird thing because there was about a year and a half in between seasons. People unsubscribe to podcasts. People are like, well, they don't
clean out.
Yeah, and it's like, so I feel like there's a whole bunch of people that like season 1 that haven't found season 2. So if that's you, go ahead and hit the feed again, and you'll find a 3-part follow-up to the first season, which I think is really important to continue the conversation about the systemic inequality and inequities that we see. And we tried to keep it really grounded in community and community voice to kind of prove the thesis that the system's rigged and it's racist. It's been by its own definition, it's been called systemically racist against Indigenous people. And so we tried to take a look at that through really amazing character-driven story, and it's all out there now. So if you haven't listened, it's out there.
It's really well done.
Thank
now,
you.
For the Crave part, because it was originally just audio you were recording when you made the first season, are you guys going back and filming?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't even know. I'm probably not supposed to talk about but I fucking don't. I don't care. Like,
let me tell you something, Ryan. Crave is not listening to this. They have tuned me out since they signed my last check.
You can do it. We have a huge fan base from my OnlyFans. So
most of our fans are from
Can we
Jane's.
talk more about your OnlyFans?
Can I do have to make a clarification. Jane does not have an OnlyFans, and you can fucking stop emailing us asking for the link, because it's fucking weird. It is a joke from episode 2 with Ivan Decker that Jane heard that callbacks were trendy, and she just fucking won't
not a
stop
callback.
with it.
Callbacks are huge right now.
They're huge.
Huge. Gotta stick with
in
it.
Zoom stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And props.
How do we feel about U.S. comics releasing dates right now?
It's weird.
I can't
Is
believe
it?
you said that. I just saw that yesterday in the Instagram rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And there's so many people like going on tour the next 8 months. I'm like, you guys are still on fire. You're still on fire. You're not going to hit the over 70%. They're not.
No.
Right. Of like, and they're just like going on, buy tickets. We're sold out here. I don't know.
It's weird.
Context. That's my voice. I did. But it's so weird. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Joe Rogan. You know, like I
should
feel,
clarify, Joe is listening.
Oh, wow. Hello, Joe. How's the elk steak treating you? You know, it's a bizarre thing, and you know, the other day, like a pretty close friend of mine and I were talking, and he was like, "Well, you know, I'm fucking." The lockdown comes to Ontario, and he's like, "I'm just fucking sick of this, man. Like, you know, people are losing businesses." He's right. He's right to be angry. He's right to be mad. And he's like, you know, and then you fucking turn on the Blue Jays season opener, and there's 50,000 people in a Texas baseball stadium. I'm like, they should stay down there.
Yeah,
we don't care about them. It's tough. It's a weird time.
I was watching yesterday, the Grace Life Church in Alberta had like a huge protest because the RCMP forced them to close down. And, you know, like I tweeted something about, I can't even remember, but it was like, whatever happened to like believing in love thy neighbor by staying the fuck home? Like, people want to be angry. I get that too, but there's no one thing to be angry at. You know, it's a frustrating situation. But the simplest thing is to just stay home. You know, like, I haven't really talked about it much on the podcast, but my mom has breast cancer right now, and she starts chemotherapy next week. And it is the scariest time to be taking chemotherapy when this disease, this, you know, virus is ravaging hospitals and stuff. We have a lot of anxiety about it. And so, you know, like, Jer and I are choosing to completely close our bubble because I have to be able to help my dad take care of my mom. So, like, I'm not seeing anybody starting, you know, like, not that we have been, but it's like, it's an easy sacrifice to make. Jane. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody. And side note, for the listeners, breast cancer doesn't run in our family. My mom had a random physical. So, ladies, go and get your boobs checked. It's really important whether you have it in your family or not. Men, fondle your balls. Like, everyone just grab their junk right now. And
I've got hands on my balls right now.
Jane's got her hands on her tits all the time.
On my balls as well too.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take over there for a sec, but it's a nervous, like, I have this nervous energy vibrating through me.
Of course you do. I had, as Darcy knows this, the past 2 years I had to get like mammogram because there was breast cancer in my family, and then I was mammogram, then they do ultrasound because that's just better too. And I was filming Mighty Ducks, Darcy knows this, and then got Winnipeg to do this last year in October. I was gonna do it but still filming and could do it, and then I was getting another test, and I was waiting to hear back, and I'm like, I don't want to risk it being celiac, the same as Darcy, that also just me flying, that if I do have cancer, I'm a dick.
And you're susceptible to infection.
Between filming. So that was like, I had to say no, and it was a hard decision, but I was like,
for the Winnipeg comedy.
Yeah, it was the right decision to do at the time because of just that, right? Like,
and it turns out Jane was perfectly healthy. It was a Cheeto.
There's a Cheeto in her bra.
Yeah, it was just a Cheeto.
That would be that would be Hawkins.
Hawkins, sorry, Hawkins.
Cheeto, you know.
I actually had a bag of Hawkins last night. I was thinking of you.
Can I show you guys something?
A bag of Hawkins.
Oh yeah, I had a bag.
I have it right beside me.
No, you don't.
French can. gluten-free,
Okay.
vegan. I'm not a vegan, but they're so good. Pop one. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, sorry.
Did we mention we both have ADHD, Ryan? I don't know if you've listened to our podcast, but it's always a little chaotic.
I thought it was breast cancer, but it was the remote control. Well, that's a good ending to that story.
Yeah, that's great.
And Darcy, you know, all good things to your mom. You know,
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah,
It's
all good
shitty.
things. My mom, this past summer had 2 heart attacks back to back, and so like navigating, getting her, and we live in a small town in northwestern Ontario, so like getting her to the doctor, and like no one's allowed in, and you know, and she at the best of times, you know, old Native woman, kind of timid and really fucked up when she interacts with the system, and so not quite advocating strongly for herself, like. It was a really hairy time. So I'm glad you guys are bubbling and kind of keeping yourself safe and because I feel like those were early. She's okay. She's getting stronger. You know, and has taken, I think, this scare more seriously than other scares she's had with other minor health things. But like, you know, it's these are scary times for people that are unwell, and you know, it's and this is the frustration of the anti-mask thing, right? It's like, yeah, fuck, dude, I don't like it either.
No one does.
No one does, but you know what? I want that person to be okay, and let's just
like
ride it out until it's over.
That's the thing. It's like, you put your seatbelt on, put your fucking mask on. I actually love the masks because it hides my chins. Like I just got like massive masks, and I just
found a new mask that deals with this thing.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
It's actually there's a.
I'm gonna wear it when I fuck. You know.
Yeah. So you don't have that. Yeah.
if I'm on top, like no one's like,
oh my god,
we just found the trailer for this week's episode.
I'm getting a fuck mask.
Yeah, you like that? Like with a sleep apnea mask. Yeah.
Don't I have a sleep apnea?
You're gonna catch a good shoving. Yeah.
It's like you heard me fucking this weekend.
Oh my god. This might be the match made. Maybe this is just your first date.
Oh my god.
You guys could bump sleep apnea mask.
Would they get locked up together?
Yeah. You guys get extra romantic and switch masks halfway.
You got a heavy flow on there, Ryan.
Where do you get your distilled water, baby?
I buy at Shoppers. He's like, I'm fucking done. That's disgusting. Well, how often do you
really took a turn? Ryan? So your mom's well. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I'm a head out. This was my ears are hot now.
Yeah.
Fucking with sleep apnea mask. Blowjobs are no fun.
This is a lesson learned to people. Listen to the podcast before you guest on it. That's it's wild. I am hopeful that we just got told like over 40 in BC can register for the vaccination now. I don't know if they're doing it the same for Ontario, but right now anyone in BC, any Indigenous can get vaccinated now. Is that national or is that provincial?
Yeah, the Indigenous population had priority. I had not got mine yet. I was, of course, I was eligible, but I feel like I'm at far lower risk than a higher risk Indigenous community, and so I just stayed away, let that rush get through, let everyone go through first, and I think I'm going in 2 weeks.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll go get mine.
Can I ask, how old are you, Ryan? Are we similar age?
I just turned 44.
Okay, yeah. So we're all like I'm 41. Jane's
32.
56.
52.
Sorry, Jane. So we're all kind of at that age too, where our parents are. It's kind of like I'm noticing now, like my parents are just full time at doctors all the time, and I'm constantly stressed about them as opposed to them constantly stressed about me. It's a weird age. It's interesting what you said about your mom's hesitation with the system. You know, like like from my perspective, it's something I would never even hesitate to go and deal with. But obviously, it's much different. Is she in Thunder Bay?
No, she's in Fort Francis, Ontario, in northwestern
Okay.
Ontario. Pretty much like if you know Kenora on a map.
Yep.
Some people
Yeah.
might. We're about 2.5 hours southeast, right on the Manitoba, Minnesota, Ontario border. So half my family lives in Minnesota.
No way.
Yeah, I went to school in Minnesota.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Um,
wild.
Like
Do you
high
have
school?
dual citizenship then because of that?
I could, but no,
I did this.
yeah, you were really surprised.
No,
No,
I love it.
yeah,
You,
no,
you
I
don't
went to high
sound
school.
Minnesotan.
Well, it comes out though. It's embarrassing sometimes, depending on if I'm talking about hockey.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come out. But yeah, no, I grew up on the border. And like the river separates us. My grandfather, residential school survivor guy, who tells a famous story of like after the Second World War, when they opened up the Canada Customs, like the border crossing agents, and this became like really solidified for Canada as a country. They used to sneak across the river because they weren't allowed to leave the reserve and they didn't have identification and all this other stuff. So they would get the Indian agent who kind of acted as the gatekeeper on and off the reserve. They would just get them drunk. And so if someone got a pass to go to town, they would pool up a little bit of money and they would go buy a little Mickey. And the Indian agent was a notorious asshole, drunk piece of shit. And so they'd sneak the Mickey back onto the reserve, give it to the Indian agent, wait till about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and peace out after he passed out. They'd just paddle the canoes across the river and someone would pick them up over there. Cause you could throw a football across the river. So that's Minnesota and Ontario where I'm
Oh,
from.
okay.
Wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she, it's just it's like the systemic leftovers, right, of colonization and residential school and everything. So, yeah, I think a lot of Indigenous people just struggle that way. There's a big report that came out of BC healthcare about like 80% of people polled had negative interactions with the BC healthcare system.
Wow.
And BC healthcare is led by Dr. Evan Adams, like the guy from Smoke Signals, like
Yeah.
one of our like native heroes, right? And they've been trying to clean up the BC healthcare system in that context for a long time. And so that was a big eye opener. And so I think a lot of people are hesitant. There was like a lot of vaccine hesitancy work that went into Native communities to get people on board with wanting to get the vaccine and whatnot. So, to be continued. I think we're in good shape actually in a lot of First Nations, like Northern Ontario basically Ontario, the province, created a program that ran through Northern Ontario to fly the Orange ambulance service up into First communities and vaccinate people. And the uptake was super high. I think 96% of people received vaccines. So,
wow.
So, time will tell. I mean,
Yeah.
I think things will be okay.
Hope is on the horizon, hopefully.
Sure.
It's sunny here. Can I ask? Well, it is.
Weather report with Jane Stanton.
We're getting meteors tonight, though, guys. I was going to ask you because you touched on it. So, did you go? You went to school in the States? Like,
went to university in the States on a hockey scholarship.
Oh, fun! For where?
Minnesota, University of Minnesota.
What position did you play?
I was defenseman, left wing. Like played left wing on the. I was just a big person, so
yeah,
played left wing on the power play, but grew up.
So you
defense.
were good, obviously.
Yeah, I was okay. Not like my dreams were my dad's. Like I didn't want to play. I knew I wasn't going to the end. Like at 14, I was brought into Thunder Bay to try out for some Team Canada thing that was going to go to Russia, and I didn't make it. And I was like, I don't even like push-ups. I fucking don't want to be. And in 5th grade, I was evil Santa in our high school, or in a play at school. And by 6th or 7th grade, I was in high school plays. So I knew I wanted to act, and I knew I wanted to be a performer. at that age. So
Oh, so you're battling that, like, living your dad's dream versus your own dream kind of thing.
yeah, and I don't want to roast my old man. Like my parents we were very poor growing up and didn't have a lot. And the little bit of extra we have definitely went into
And
my hockey.
hockey is an expensive
So
sport to have
expensive.
kids in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
tough.
I give my parents a lot of props and respect for what they did. But I mean, delusional hockey dads across Canada, everywhere that listen to this podcast, let me just tell you,
That's
back
our demographic.
off,
I think
back off.
moms too put that in there
Oh
too.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
used to coach soccer because I played at a high level, like won nationals and stuff. And when I coached, it was just yelling and then parents being like, "You're trying to lose the team." To me, when I was then coaching, I'm like, "What? No, like, no, your kids
yeah,
are 12, 13. Like, settle down, settle
yeah,
down."
yeah. Like, and one thing parents will never tell you is that most of our kids are just completely average.
Yeah.
But like, if you're really lucky, totally average.
Yeah.
My mom was just that. Just like
Right.
she's like, "I wish I pushed you more."
Mm,
Hmm.
mm,
Rather than, like, she was the opposite because there
yeah.
was parents like that on my team. So she would step back because she's shy. So she was just like, "I won't do that."
Yeah. And I got to high school and I met this drama teacher named Willa Tomzak. And she was a hippie from San Francisco that got lost and found herself in Northwestern Ontario one time and then never left. And she wore she wore homemade baggy clothes and she had Birkenstocks and smoked weed at lunch and
Just a total free spirit.
totally. And that was my ninth grade drama teacher. I had her first period. So like walking into high school, I'm like, starstruck by all the 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders, and ladies with boobs. And it's like, Jesus, this is going to be great. And then I meet Willa Tomzak, who like, we have the most fun playing like clap focus and like I'm like whatever this is, this beats everything else I've ever done. I think, yeah, theater saved my life in high school. Like this was it for me.
Same. Yeah. Like I, to this day, still communicate with my drama teacher from high school.
Nice.
Yeah, he was at our wedding. When I came out to my parents, he, without being asked or anything, reached out to my parents and was like, "Can I help you understand things for Darcy?" And gave
Wow.
them books. He went to the library and got all these books on queer culture and stuff and helped educate my parents on what it was like. And he, like, I am who I am because of that grade 9 moment of meeting basically the male version of what you just described.
I love it.
He was the first vegetarian I ever met, and we would always the theater at our school was a safe space at lunchtime, so anyone could come and eat lunch there. And like I think I came out in grade 10 and I was the only gay kid in our school, so like theater was like the safe place. And he would sit on the couch and eat these like vegetarian sandwiches, like cucumbers, all these vegetables, and he'd take a bite and oh yes, like just sit there and like he just enjoyed every little piece of his world. And it was an energy that I was just like, I must follow in these footsteps. Like,
And you have to, and they helped you. Like, I love like certain teachers of sparking, maybe I don't know if it was you guys, of sparking an interest that otherwise I would have fallen through the cracks. Mine wasn't my theater teacher. He hated me. Me and my friend who also was in acting, that everyone was in a Christmas production. He's like, "You two are, what's it like taking the tickets?" We're like, "What?" Like not
you're at the front.
nothing. I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, maybe I did acid during stagecraft. That could have been. Who knows? Who knows? I did acid at school. Who didn't? Come on, guys."
Right?
Yeah.
Did you take theater throughout high school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
by the way, for organically bringing us into high school, because Jane and I sometimes are 40 minutes into this podcast and we're like, what's the point of this show?
I wasn't sure when we'd get there, but we're here now.
Yeah.
Feels good. Feels good. Yeah, I took it all through. And it was interesting because I was on the hockey team, so it's like, I'm surrounded by all the queerdos at lunch in the theater, hanging out with everyone. And then and then would, rip to hockey practice with all the dumb jocks, and we'd punch each other in the dick and put our hockey sticks up each other's butts. And
I'm
like,
listening.
you
I'm
know,
listening.
I'm here to flirt with you, Darcy.
Yeah. Some things never change.
That makes two of us.
Right.
This explains a lot with you for me because, like you and I have only really ever hung out at the festival, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I've always you've got such a warm, kind demeanor, but you also are, like you've got this really nice balance of broiness and kindness, if not saying
yeah.
isn't, but
yeah, like I still want to punch people out all the time, but I wouldn't. Like, it's too mean.
Yeah,
and I could, like, there's also a difference. So I could fucking really do
You're
that.
a big dude. Yeah. How tall are you?
6'1".
Yeah.
Yeah,
you could do some
290 on 290 when I'm thin.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
304, 302, 303 when I'm right now.
Yeah, when you're in COVID.
Yeah.
Jane,
but
we
yeah,
have to start telling people we're 6'1".
I'm 6'8".
Yeah.
This was my whole experience, was like, in grade 8, I won the most Christian-like attitude award at my Catholic school.
No, you went to a Catholic school?
How that out?
How deep do you want to go?
Let's go. This is really interesting.
So yes. 4th grade. So I was baptized. I did the communion thing. I did what is the other thing you have to do? I did all of that as a kid on the church on my reserve, and then I guess I was brought into the altar boy program. I escaped 2 rapes during that time in 4th grade.
Legitimately,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the priest actually didn't get any of us. They shipped them out or whatever. But and it wasn't even the rapes, the potential rapes, that scared me out of the church. This is my new hour, by the way. It was I couldn't take it seriously. Like I would leave Christian living class and I would stay up at night thinking, like, how the fuck am I supposed to love a God that wants to kill me all the time? And then one time at church, we were doing some morning prayer thing, and I had the bells, and you're supposed to ring the bells at certain points of whenever they're reading the shit. And I kept looking at my homie across from me, Steve, his name was Steve Breer. And I'd look at Steve and I'd be like, I'm going to fucking ring these things. I'm going to ring these anytime. And I got in a lot of trouble for not taking the word of God seriously. And then I told the priest, I don't take it seriously. And I went home in 4th grade and I just told my parents, I'm never going back.
Wow.
They didn't make me. So, but I still stayed in Catholic school. It was just the school closest in our neighborhood. So that's where I went. And in 8th grade, I get the Christian-like attitude award, which just means I wasn't a dink.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what carried me through in high school. Like, I had all these amazing friends in theater. I played hockey and sports, and I just kind of had, I just had a wide range of group of friends that,
Were you a good student? Because
no.
Oh, really?
No, not really. I mean, average, probably C's and some B's, I didn't care about any. I knew I wasn't fucking ever going to apply physics to my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Math, no. I mean, this is also how I parent my kids too. I'm like, listen, if you can balance your bank account, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Everything else is beyond.
How do you do that?
Right.
Yeah. Can you teach Jane?
Right.
Please.
Jane's looking for a daddy on so many different levels.
Oh God!
Make enough money so you can pay an accountant to take care of your shit. That's your
amen,
job.
brother.
Can I ask you? Did you have a hard time? It sounds like you didn't, balancing the sport and the theater, because like when I went to college, university, I had a scholarship for soccer, so I was like in plays playing soccer. It was fine. Younger, older me now would be like, whoa, that's too much. But how were you with it?
Terrible. Same thing. Like, never off book when I was supposed to be off book.
Sounds like Darcy.
Right.
I'm the worst.
they would have to change theater rehearsals for my hockey schedule, and the hockey schedule couldn't really change, and we were a big hockey school, and so you just kind of get married to certain parts of your schedule. But it wasn't terrible. It was very manageable, but a lot of my I think I could have done better in both had I dropped one of them. Like I probably could have.
Yeah, you're burning the stick on both ends. Is that the phrase? Why can I never remember cliches?
Because they're stupid.
Yeah. I think it sticks.
Is
burning
it
sticks?
The sticks?
Candles.
Candle. Burning the candle at both
got that at
ends.
the same time.
Seven
Guys,
people
we sound so smart.
We're just I was gonna say you just took your toque off.
You have a good fucking head of hair.
I was actually
Why'd
pissed
you have
off.
the toque under there?
Yeah, I was pissed off he was wearing a toque because I know he's got a great fucking head of hair and he's always hiding. No, you do. You've got that salt and pepper thing going. It's good.
Why is it like fucking guys? It looks great. Females are like, you've given up. Just giving up, I guess.
Hey, for the record, I gave up I gave up when my kids came, to be clear.
How 17, old are you girls?
17 and 15.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like I'm just about done.
Yeah.
Oh, Grace is 23 in August and you're not done. It's never over.
Don't tell me this.
Yeah. Ask my parents.
And then once they leave, I have to start giving shit again. Cause
yeah, you gotta take control.
Yeah.
What were you always tall? Like, when did you hit puberty? Like, were you 6'1" in grade 9, or were you like a little guy that just kind of spurted up?
I think so. I think I was probably like 180 pounds all the way through high school until like 12th grade. I think I got up to and I was lifting weights and stuff because I was going to play hockey. So probably weighed about 200 pounds through high school. Okay. And then played hockey in university at like 235 pounds.
And did you play hockey? Like, did you do a full 4 years at university?
Three. Okay. I finished. I wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. What did you study?
Theater.
Oh, really?
Oh, there as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you played hockey to become an actor. That's so Canadian.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I wish. I don't know. I didn't have options. I've never had a plan B. There was no plan B.
Yeah.
So I kind of just. I never chose it. It's what I was doing, and then it's just what I kept doing. I know a lot of people I remembered in like 10th grade, I did something called "What Color Is Your Parachute?" Do you know this thing? It's like a booklet that you work through the year, and then you get to the end of it, and it spits out the results, and you're like, you should be a politician.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We had similar versions, but
you did in grade 10. I did it when I was 18 or 19.
I think it took me. I think it took me till 12th grade. Like it was a very thick book, and you'd kind of go by interests, and you'd take these little quizzes and go away. And this is of course back before the internet. So like to figure out which university you wanted to go to, they'd send these handbooks, and you'd take them home, and you'd have to return them back to the guidance counselor. And anyway, that booklet told me to be a politician. Like a municipal politician specifically, like a town. Like
don't
council.
Have big goals, but you could be a city councilor. Mine told me to be a border security guard. Grade 12, it was border security, and I was like, I've been smuggling drugs for years, so this would make sense.
Mine was public speaking and OnlyFans. So serendipity, guys.
You made it.
A municipal politician. The Canadian education system just setting. Or no, that was an American school that you were in.
No, Canadian.
Oh, Canadian. That was Canadian. Okay.
Yeah. And I just didn't have a plan. And thank God for Willa Tomzak, because she's just in 9th grade. I was in Flowers for Algernon.
Love it.
Yeah. And she was just like, you're really good at this. And I was like, I don't know. I'm whatever you are at 14 or whatever in 9th grade. And she's like, you love it. And you change when you do this. And
I'm getting shivers.
Yeah, and something about her saying that's honestly saved my life. Like there was. I'm making it sound like I was some fucking NHL hockey player. I definitely was not. Like I said, I knew I wasn't going to make it at that time, and so to have someone have someone else believe in me like that, um, and to just consistently tell me to keep trying, um, what meant everything. Because
Yeah.
I was a kid from Northwestern Ontario. Like the trajectory for young people in my hometown in the 90s, mid to late 90s, was like you graduated from high school and you probably got a job in the mill because your dad or your uncles were in there.
Yeah.
And you could walk into a union job, $60,000-$70,000 a year, pushing a broom
Yeah.
in a mill, and you buy a truck, you buy a boat, you buy a four-wheeler, a snow machine,
And a house and
a house and a cabin, and you marry someone you don't love, you raise kids that you accidentally have, and a lot of those guys are still there, and they're all listening to this show.
crying, just going, oh my God.
I
And
was
by
like,
the
do you
way,
have the number for the mill?
James,
Just
do
asking.
you guys need
Sadly-
a broom? I could be the role of
I'm
broom.
such a good sweep. No idea.
sadly, it slows down. Like all these guys lost their ass, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, and by the way, there's no reason why I escaped that fate.
Well,
Willa Tomzak.
I was
right?
going to say, teachers, your words have so much power.
Oh,
14 and 15 and 16-year-old kids.
And younger too.
And younger, but the words of encouragement and discouragement can set the path of someone's life. Our teachers are the most powerful influence on it.
They should get paid more. Like
they should, but when you were telling that story, I had shivers the whole time because I relate to it too. The same with the way Lloyd encouraged me. I am who I am because of him. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't have to worry about the mill closing down because our entire industry has closed down instead.
And those words are powerful. I had a hockey coach. I think I was in 12th grade, and I was getting chubbier then. I was getting some sort of meat on my bones, and he said, you better stop eating or you better start working out, something to that effect. And he said, your belly looks like cottage cheese. And to this day, I swim with my t-shirt on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, that's heavy. Yeah,
fucked me up.
It totally does.
It was one comment.
Oh yeah. That's all it takes.
And I was just like, I'd never noticed my body until that moment. And then I would look in the mirror and I'd be like, I have these fucking little titties, like, and these love handles I've never noticed before. I never,
right?
Until then, I like first in the water at the beach, like who gives a shit, right? But that comment, like, I'm 44.
And it's still with you. Yeah.
Sure, for
sure. The rule of thumb should be we shouldn't comment on people's bodies, good or bad, ever, because it doesn't matter. That's something Jer and I were very conscious of because, I have a lot of body dysmorphia issues that I've dealt with from high school years back to, I love Lloyd to bits, but when we got new theater seats in the theater, he would make me sit on the stairs because he didn't want me to indent the seats. He was gently ribbing, but for me at the time, like especially as a gay man, being overweight in a community that is so body image focused, it's something that I've struggled with. Like someone tweeted yesterday that my body or my I've got to find it because it actually really upset me. It was something about my body weight fluctuating. Darcy Michael is the Christian Bale of comedy, asterisk weight fluctuations. And I was just like, well, first of all, that's my body. That's not you to comment on. Secondly, very funny joke.
And positive, Christian Bale's hot. So
he is, but
I'm y'all are funny right now, but that pisses me off.
It was a tough one because I won't call them out, but I actually, it's someone we know. It was a comedian that wrote it, and it was because like my people are seeing what I look like now on TikTok and stuff versus what, like my special, which was filmed 2 years ago, is now being seen around the world. And I am about 50 pounds heavier, but I'm also about 50 pounds fucking happier than
I
I
was gonna
was
say,
when I filmed that
so
special. Because, like I didn't eat for 3 fucking days before that special because I didn't want to look bloated, and I was miserable, and I didn't enjoy the taping, and I didn't enjoy the after party. And whereas now I'm like, I get out of bed with joy every day because I don't fucking care what people think anymore. But
you're so much more happier. It is. There's the roller coaster of, because you lost like 120 pounds, and then you became like how anyone does, male or female. I have like
Obsessed.
just obsessed to a point that I was like, I said to Darcy numerous times, like, seriously, you look great, but like, shut the fuck up and like, you know what I mean? I don't want
eat
the
a
whole
carb.
time. Also, like, it's horrible. Parents should never, let alone teachers, coaches. I had it when I played of like, if you just lost 10 more pounds, you'd be like, and I was like, I was at 121 and I was bulimic at that time too. So it was like, I don't know how much weight I could have fucking lost at that time of just that sort of stuff. And I had a comic, Darcy knows this, maybe not, of a guy, doesn't live in this country anymore, thank God, moo me. Be like,
oh my God, I
when I was
forgot about
headlining
that.
at Yaks, and I was like,
yeah, that was a rough one.
This is the culture of sports. Like at that, so when you're at that age, when you're in high school sucks, by the way. But that, you are so open to the world. Nothing makes sense. You're just trying to fucking stay alive. Every day sucks. And then you have these kind of people they're saying this kind of shit to you. And it's like, it's fucking hard enough out here. And so, for me as a dad with my 2 daughters, like, we don't do the, like, you're so beautiful,
right,
girl, like, we stay away from that stuff. And like, but it's hard because I see some of their insecurities, and now I'm going to really sound like an old man, but with the internet and the Kardashians and the pressure and
and the filters
the
now,
filters and all of this, it's just like, I go to a dark place when I think about that for them, and just try to continue to support them in other ways and let them know they're loved and valued for who they are.
For who they are, because that's the thing. Like, our bodies are our vessels. That's got nothing to do with our soul, our brain. We try to really encourage Grace with her intellect. Like, she is 10 times smarter than Jared and I will ever be. But Jared and I are in our 40s, and we're dealing with, like, when we're filming things for TikTok, like, we're like, oh, that's a really unflattering angle for your eyes, kind of thing. And we're like, we're 40 and we're having these issues. Imagine being 12, 11, 13 and being like, oh, I have to put the beauty filter on, like I have to do this and this. I don't know, for our listeners, just be kind to yourself, your body,
and other people.
Nicely. And other people. But a lot of the time when someone's commenting on your weight or your looks, they're projecting their own insecurities. And that's
we all know that, but
like Ryan, I have seen pictures of you in high school, and it was a bit of a cottage cheese belly. So
I mean, I've been talking.
He just told you I was going to go back to the cottage cheese belly. No, because the way you described that is an interesting point of, it was that moment to me when I'm hearing you of it, and it made me sad too, of like, that was the moment that you became self-aware. It feels like when you told that story, and I'm like, oh my God, because you were very before, like, I'm the first, and then that negative impact to me, like, I have shivers, like, that kills me. And it's great that you were a higher age, because like sometimes it can be younger too, right? And it shouldn't be for anyone but like a negative self-aware is what I was saying.
It's a weird thing. I mean, it is, like, and being aware of your body at that age is such a, I don't know if we all kind of go through that at that age, where we start to like really realize our bodies and our body's potential, like how we can move and how, what the limits are and everything else. But that there was just like, it was such a weird thing, because I'd never looked at a body like that before. Like I'd never really considered a body I'd liked or didn't like. I knew wrestlers were fucking jacked. I knew Hulk Hogan had 24-inch pythons.
24-inch
and I knew I didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And you know, again, I go back to like, thank God, if there is a God, for Willa Tomczak, because that was it. You know, and there wasn't any of that bullshit. And like, you know, the sports culture is toxic, and I don't, you know, there's nothing new to say there, but throwing our kids into that when they're 5 and 6, and like, you know, berating them on the way home from their practices and shit like that is just it's all those hockey dads that listen to this, and there are many.
You'd be surprised.
So many. I've sucked a lot of their dicks. So.
Great. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I swear to God. We had, you know, like Grace was in rep baseball, and Jer was her coach, and Jer gets really excited. Like he loves sports, and he was a great coach because he is so like gentle and calm. But we were always like, Grace could have continued. She was a really great pitcher. She had a strong pitch, and she could have continued on a full ride if she wanted to. But we always were like, when you're done, you tell us. And she just hit an age. I want to say she was 16, maybe 15. And she was just like, this isn't for me anymore. And Jer was heartbroken because it brought him so much joy to coach her and stuff. But he also, it was his shining moment as a dad when he was like, okay, cool. Like, beautiful. Be done. And I was just like, you know, I hope one day she understands it. But I want to go back the juxtaposition of your drama teacher and your coach. Right. You know, like one is giving you a gift and one is giving you a curse. And it's like, you know, it's no wonder you don't. Like when you think of hockey, maybe sometimes you've got this like negative connotation from it.
I don't even really skate anymore.
I was
like,
just going to ask you.
Yeah. Like
that's so sad.
Yeah, and it's not for anything. I mean, you know, I travel for work, and you know, our life as comics, like there's a lot of instability, and our schedules are weird. So like committing to playing on a team is a no-go because then you're the guy that's always gone.
Yeah.
So I can't do that, but the joy is not really there. The want or the need to play isn't really there either. So like, you know, I don't know. And for me as a dad, like I tried sports with the girls, and they're really athletic, strong young girls, and tried them in hockey. And I was going to be the hockey dad. You know, I put them on skates and got them little sticks and went to the rink, and they both immediately could skate, which was just like so bizarre. I was so proud. It was like,
same as me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. And they immediately dropped their sticks, and they're just like, we're not doing this. Not hockey players. Yeah. And I was like, pick it up. And as soon as I offered their stick again, they're just like, we just want to skate. And I was like, that's it. And they never saw another hockey stick again. Similarly in soccer, you know, they just to make friends, put them in soccer. They're like, I don't think any team should lose. And I was like, okay, well, no soccer for you. Gymnastics. So we put them in gymnastics. They make Team Manitoba in their first year.
No.
Yeah. They're like strong, capable, able. They picked it up very quickly, but they went to a bunch of different competitions, and they noticed the unhealthy practices in gymnastics, like restricting food and everything else. And they're just like, we're not doing this. We don't like these people. This isn't who we want to be.
Good for them.
And they quit.
That's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So they did. We just stopped asking them when they showed interest in other things. We just supported that. So.
But when you played hockey, when you just said they didn't want to win, I was like, soccer, if we didn't, especially when I got older, like so competitive, like the first year when we won national, second year we lost, I was probably in a bad mood for maybe a month or two. Like I was like,
you're pretty competitive in general.
But with my dogs, like I'm very supportive of where their weight is and whatnot. Just to,
Jane's like, I don't relate to anything on this episode.
Well, but I
Right.
will say, like the jock in me that comes out. I'm a winner. I'm competitive. I want to win. I want to do my best. I think what sports, namely football, I played football in high school as well, and I was actually very good at football. The football, two seasons of football taught me more than a lifetime of hockey ever taught me. And
Why
that was,
do you say that?
it was just more about team and structure, and like everyone needs to do the thing they're supposed to do so that this person can do the thing they're supposed to do.
Interesting.
Okay.
And much like theater, it taught us like, look, this is choreographed. This play that we're about to do, this guy's going to take the ball and he's going to run through the tackle.
Yeah.
Off tackle, and the wide receiver needs to clip around and stop the linebacker from. So when we're rehearsing blocking in theater, we're
It's
like,
the exact same.
bitch,
Okay.
where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
I was coming in on the trapeze and you didn't catch me. Like so it taught me a lot about myself in that way. And so for me, theater taught me everything I needed to know about myself and about teamwork. It's like, for kids in high school, it's like life skills on steroids,
Amen.
listening,
Literally.
leading, communicating. Like it saved my life for sure. It saved my life.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. How old were you when you started stand up?
So I moved to Toronto in 1999 after university and started working. I went to the Center for Indigenous Theatre. Got an agent and started auditioning. I went to the Second City in 2000 and got into the conservatory, graduated from it, was in the touring company for a while.
Oh, wow.
But my first daughter was born in the summer of 2003. So it was around that time where I was starting to make decisions about what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And I was only doing sketch and improv at that time. Moved to Winnipeg around 2005 when my second daughter was born, and quit everything because I didn't have a theater company. I was in a comedy troupe called Tonto's Nephews, and it was an all native sketch and improv comedy troupe. And we had a deal with CBC. We had a pilot and a development deal for a sketch comedy show. That was 2001.
Wow.
It's now 2021, and it still has never existed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we talk about like progress and representation and shit, it's like 20 years ago is when I had my first deal.
Yeah. Well, Tall Boys is probably the closest to that.
Closest thing too. Yeah.
And it's great if you like sketch, check it out because it is a really diverse cast.
For
Bruce
sure.
McCullough is the showrunner on it.
And a bit of a miracle to see that, like knowing
Yeah.
where comedy has come with CBC. So it change is slow, so they tell us. Or you just fucking take to TikTok and do the shit yourself.
Right. Well, that was after CTV spent 5 years wasting my life in development. And then CBC was like, I don't think there's an appetite for a gay sitcom. And I'm like, hey, have you watched your numbers on Schitt's Creek? Progress is slow and people don't want to take risks. Like they don't want to put their jobs on the line for good art. So instead, we have to make the choice easier for them by,
And that's what I did. That's what I did. I was in Winnipeg. I enrolled in law school at the University of Manitoba, and in like 2008, I bought a laptop to write paper. I was a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
I bought a laptop to write papers. I discovered GarageBand. Was kind of playing around. I saw this little podcast figure. I hit the button. Back then, a little record pop-out window would come, and I hit record, and I saw the wave file kind of bouncing, and then I started a podcast called Life According to Clarence Two Toes, which was a character I would play at Second City.
No way.
Yeah, and so I started a podcast in 2008, and that slowly, so I started to take sketch and improv and kind of create bits, and then I was like, I live in this city, I don't have anyone to perform with, I'm going to start going out. So I started going to open mics, and 2010 was when I recorded my first special with CBC in the Welcome to Turtle Island 2 special.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Which was
great.
like an all native comedy special.
Because I think we met probably around 2010, 2011, I want to say.
2010, 11, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
That's wild, man. That's a journey. So did
Yeah.
you you didn't finish law school, right?
No,
Yeah.
I one, I think I spent like $2,300 on books one time, and I was in there, and I was, it was snowing. I had my kid in a car seat, and I was like, fucking. And I
What a
dropped the book. I dropped one of the texts that I bought, and I fucking hoofed it into a snowbank, and I kept walking. And that's when I was just like, I'm not fucking doing this. I'm not doing this.
That's
And
wild.
again, no plan B. A dad, with a mortgage, and like,
Yeah.
what a disaster. I was teaching theater at the Manitoba Theater for Young People. My partner at the time was she had a job, so she really kept the family alive. But I had no plan. Like, I didn't know what I
Yeah.
was going to do. And then after Welcome to Turtle Island 2, I recorded my 1 hour special for CBC in 2012.
Yeah.
And
What was that one called?
Unreserved, Ryan
Yeah.
McMahon Unreserved.
Yeah, that one was great. I remember that.
Yeah, that was fun. And then after that, I just toured, and got that those 2 years there in my stand-up were probably like single-handedly why I'm able to do anything now. Is
Yeah,
really, I worked hard, but it like really created a platform for me.
How long
yeah.
have you been doing stand-up when you did your special?
2 years for the first one.
That's
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
But I had a degree in theater. Like, I had been on stage, as you both are, right? You're on stage, you have chops, I think you get a sense of timing. And
Ryan, I
Yeah.
would like you to take the compliment, because that's fucking amazing 2 years in. You're like, hey, Jane, I've been studying, man, and for 3
Jane,
years.
keep in mind that first special is just horrible. No.
by the way, after that first special, like Just for Laughs, was looking at homegrown people, and fucking, I was like, oh, this is embarrassing. Do they probably listen, some of them? Hey, for sure.
No,
no.
Hey, Zoe.
So Zoe, if you're listening, you'll remember this email where I was like, yeah, homegrown's fine, but if I don't get on the main stage at the ethnic show, like, I've been pitching Just for Laughs to have an Indigenous comic on the ethnic show, which is in like the soft seat theater with And I was like, this is Canada's festival. It's the world-class festival. And you don't have an Indigenous comic on the ethnic show. Let's do a showcase, and I'll host it. Like, I was just like, so fucking pushy, and like, this has to happen. And it still has never happened. And
I was going to say, have they had an Indigenous show? Because there's a lot of really great Indigenous comedians in this country, and I don't think
it's changed. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
well,
really changed.
No, it's true. That's funny. Did they have you been back to the festival since you sent that email?
Yeah, I have. Like, very. Actually,
You're like, funny. I haven't. I don't know why.
Yeah, Zoe, call me back.
I have some ideas.
I have, and I actually just turned them down
for this year.
Yeah,
good for you.
Because they were offering me a roast battle show.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Well, so guys could come and call me fat?" Like,
100%.
No, I'm not doing. And there are comics with acts and with style and that can do that show far better than I could. So I just honestly said, like, this is so awesome. I'm so happy you asked, but like, I'm gonna give this spot to someone else because I'm not confident in my ability to do
I also don't want 6 months of counseling after that.
They just announced Roast Battle Canada with Craven CTV Comedies and Just for Laughs. So it's the Roast Battle, but Canadian comedians. I don't think I could do it strictly because I've done roast before, and it's just like, I don't want to hear your version of an AIDS joke because I'm a gay man. Like, it's just, like, thanks so much, sweetie, move along. But it's also, it's at least there's another option for Canadian comedians to get their $1,500.
Guys, I'm doing a roast battle, just to let you know.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jane. That's so funny. No, okay, we're running out of time. So you do have a story about, you were valedictorian, right? Were you in high school? I really want to hear this story.
That's right. So yeah, I don't know how these things happen. I think in the movies, like you run for valedictorian, but that wasn't the case in my high school. It was like you were nominated, and so I was nominated with a handful of others, and then people like voted,
Oh
and,
wow.
and then I got it, and our graduation happened in our arena. And there's probably 800 people there or something. It was the first time I guess I really did stand up. Like I wrote the shit out of this thing. And I'm sorry it's not with me to read it, but there's a adults read things they wrote as kids or something.
Yeah.
There's a podcast. I read the speech live for it. It's on the internet. I'll send you a link so you can hear it. But I wrote it the night before. Like my guidance counselor and my teacher were like, "You need to send it to us." And I was like, I don't have it yet. And I wrote it the night before, and I still kind of write that way. Like I don't do set for big shows. I don't do set lists until I'm in the green room, and I kind of wait for the thing to hit me where I figure out what the set list looks like and what I want to do. And the opening was like, "Good evening, graduates, teachers, moms, dads, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, cats, dogs, goldfish." And the place erupted, and I was like, this is it.
Oh yeah.
This is all I'm ever doing.
You've changed my life, everybody.
I got an applause break on goldfish.
And shivers, right? Goldfish shivers. You're like,
That's
yes.
Right. And my dick has been hard ever since. So, yeah, and it was I don't know, like it's such a weird thing to look back on, because I really felt a pressure to be like profound, but you're 18.
Yeah.
You listen to AC/DC in your mom's car on the way to work. Like you're so uncool. And the big reveal at the end was like, my grandmother kept telling me, "Don't say the F word." And so I dropped this in, and Jane, I was doing callbacks back then. Get that sleep apnea mask out.
Toes, Jane.
And I think it was the third time when I said like, "Oh, there's that F word again." And then I finally revealed the bait and switch is future.
Who is this genius speaking before us?
I just leave now. Oh, there's the
end of the
leave button. I gotta go.
That's the mic drop. This has been Ryan's TED Talk.
Oh God. Wait, I don't want to cut off. I wanted to ask you quickly, because we didn't get there. Did you have, just quick question, Darcy, so suck it. 2 questions. Did you party and girlfriends? Anything? Go.
In high school. Yeah. So a friend of mine got pregnant in 9th grade, and so I didn't fuck a lot, I'll tell you that much.
She took one for the team.
I'm not fucking doing that. I was a dry humper, man. Bring back dry humping.
Dry humping is underrated. It's still hot.
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring back the blue balls.
Doesn't it hurt your dick though? Like
a
little, but it's kind of like a good hurt.
I kind of want it to hurt.
Yeah, because it's so bad.
I mean, that's what the coconut oil's for after. Like, let's get this going.
Wouldn't you put it on before, so then it's like friendly to your jeans?
Yeah, if you're prepared.
What are you like? Get rid of the button jeans. That hurts my dickhead.
Listen to me. Three's Company reruns on the TV, dry humping anything that moves.
Just the cat.
Well, no.
We're gonna have to put so many trigger warnings off the top of this episode.
Yeah, I was a dry humper in high school. Girlfriends, yes. I think I had 2 like pretty serious girlfriends in high school, and partied like later, like in like 12th grade.
I was gonna say
back then it was 13th grade too.
Yeah.
The OACs they were called.
Yeah, the OAC. Yeah, you know,
which was like if you're going to university, you did a year of OACs to get you ready to, to go to university, I guess. So those 2 years were really, really
big dry humping years.
A lot of dry humping and a lot of drinking.
Like like kokanee. I think I drank kokanee. The beer. I was a kokanee drinker. And if you know bro culture, snowboarding, hockey, kokanee.
Yeah.
Like I have friends.
It's my fucking nightmare.
I have friends, Jane, that have kokanee beer label tattoos.
No, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh man.
Like because by the way, we were my hometown is 4.5 hours east of Winnipeg, where the drinking age is 18. And so the big thing was, I wish we had another hour. I've got so many good stories. We got sad. Then the priest tried to rape me.
I know.
Like, I went a weird direction in this episode. I might come back like 100 episodes from now. Can you have me back? And
We'll be like, here's Debbie Downer again. Let's hear his fucking...
Can we not talk about the priest raping?
Send me a contract, McMahon. There will be
no priest raping. God.
It sounds like we're raping the priest the way we're saying.
Well, it would be even back to them. So
okay.
Well, I hope that priest caught a unconsensual shoving.
Yeah,
they were not nice that guy. Anyway, when you turned 18, you would go to Manitoba to drink.
Yeah,
and so that's 12th grade, and so everyone would go into Winnipeg and do the weekend of debauchery and chicken wings and strippers, whatever whatever you do. And a couple of my friends came back with like kokanee tattoos.
Amazing.
Or the other one was the Tasmanian
Tasmanian devil.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
biting through a hockey stick.
Because the Tasmanian devil is the most Canadian representation, like a beaver biting through a hocky stick. That's a Canadian tattoo. Actually, I'm gonna write it down. That
did you go? So you went to Winnipeg, not Steinbach.
No, not Steinbach. The Christian community. No. No Steinbach.
How do you know Steinbach? Jane?
Spartan race, motherfucker. Went south of there, like an hour south. I was the festival director for like 4 or 5 years. It would be an hour. What was it? An hour south of Steinbach, tiny little town. Like still no drinking in that town. So people would like go to
yeah,
Steinbach.
it's dry. It's dry.
Whatever. That's what I say. Yeah. And then I lost my mind because the lady's like, I'm Mennonite. I'm like, but you look normal.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't know, because there's the ones with no buttons, right? Like no buttons. The ladies grow their hair to their ankles and like pubic hair go to their ankles. Buttons.
We've had like 2 or 3 good endings to this episode.
I was gonna say, okay. First,
why do you want to stop, guys?
We can keep going.
We can't. We're gonna run out of recording space. I just tell Jane that so we can keep it being 3 hours long. There's no. Ryan, where can people find you? What are your socials?
At RM Comedy on Twitter and Instagram.
Sweet. Jane, what are yours?
Mine is Toast Jane, OnlyFans, and I think it's that Jane Stan on Instagram, Jane Stan on Facebook, and then my 2 kids are on Instagram as well, Lulu and Hoffman.
They don't have an Instagram.
Yes.
Does she really?
Yes. Darcy, where do people find you?
They can find this podcast is at High School Sucked on Instagram. And I'm at the Darcy Michael on all socials because it's called branding. You should look into it, Jane.
My website, the Jane Stanton.
The Jane Stanton. Listen, if you enjoy our podcast, please rate and review and subscribe. If you don't, send it to your frenemy. We don't give a fuck.
Darcy, go fuck yourself.
Jane, we haven't said goodbye to our guests.
I'm sorry.
Ryan, thank you so much. We will definitely be having you back on when we all get a kokanee tattoo live on the podcast. Jane,
live recordings, y'all.
Jane, go fuck yourself.
Thank you.